$6,400.
Thank you.
Timmy McNeil lives next door to you?
Not next door, next street over,
Oh.
pretty close.
She's supposed to come tonight, but in case I forget to give this to her, I'm gonna send this home with you.
Okay.
What's your,
Alright, I'm starting Zoom.
your greatest Zoom?
Again, I'm not an expert on Zoom, so I'm gonna try, but it is.
Does that work?
Thank you.
Let's see. Is this a different computer?
Yes. See at the bottom, it opened, you just have to click on the, to download it.
This?
Yeah.
Okay. That's why the clock is missed. I was like, last time the clock's been off for the last. Alright, it's opening. I think.
So suspenseful.
Today is sixth, right?
Karen, it's got this firewall thing, is it blocked?
I think so. No.
You found your firewall?
I think that's okay.
Cancel?
No, access.
And then it comes up with this. Passwords. Sorry, technical difficulties. Definitely not. I'm gonna just click and move. James right there.
I just gave her a check.
How do I, oh, the participants, do I have to let them in?
Yep.
How do
I'm
I-
gonna start the video.
I just don't want to have double cover. It's 2:30. It's 3:30. I hate you.
Here we go. Admits.
You could be paving a road, you know.
Oh, man.
It's probably gonna be the end of the month.
When did you get that? I missed it.
I saw the guy up doing the,
Yes.
marking it
We
down.
started doing that after we were Zoom bombed during our budget hearing.
Okay.
There's gonna be John Bell,
Yeah.
and we have my drive.
Right?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. Stuck on it. Okay. I can't see what they're doing. Okay. We have, four checks. One, Matthew Bergeron is $1,827.42. Charles Fitzgerald's $86.92. Timothy Lindeman is $447.20, and Carrie Mason is $172.13. Oops, sorry about that. Kristen Pash is $497.82. They're all right. However you want to hand that out. Let's see if he's nice enough.
Same as always.
It's like the punishment that he's getting.
There's no punishment. You do it your way, I'll do it mine. It makes it easier on both of us.
Okay, I wanna-
Does it?
It does, because I said so.
Sorry.
Eleanor Cherry, $3,441.78. Tell me if you need me to slow down.
Oh, I will, don't worry.
All right, Andrea Bickham, 63614, Joseph Bird, 92364, Katie Blazek, $800, Kendra Brackett, 517.53, Mark Brightman is $31.40, Gloria Bendiva Sarah is $367.79, Gabriel Burgess Abante is $333.03, Adamar Chadmar is $185.48, Karen Clements, $1,098.37, Jeffrey Collins is $679.82, Charlene Confaloni is $61.34, Katie Coppola is $128.48, Eli Corson is $276.04, Keith Culligan $155.33, Alyssa Sanuski $345.39, Michael Bain $688.59, Phoebe Dennis Walsh $232.73, Robert Gagnon $280.42.
Pause. Sorry. Robert Gagnon, what?
Robert Gagnon.
280.42. Thank you.
Ready?
Yep.
Jason Gagnon is $103.89, Jason Grant is $497.64, Andrew Gray is $478.47, Alexander Hall is $622.79, Mary Lyons Hall is $116.36, John Isabel,
Library.
$734.69, Kip Kaiser, $724.16, Joyce Keegle is $535.67, Erica Kenyon is $1,203.23.
Pause. 1,203.23.
Right.
Keep going.
William Kenyon is $704.03, Peter King is $34.26, Kevin Nealon is $755.98, Albert Kazaka is $217.43, Julie Devante is $600.67, Heather Lindsay is $640.86, Robert McCon is $344.78, Brandon Messina is $1,155.08, Aaron Mitchell is $126.68, Casey Newell is $1,220.57, Sarah Parker's $434.10, Brian Raines is $868.94, Nathan Richards $571.56, Wayne Robinson $946.12, Stephen Forza is $1,103.43, Christopher Spitaleri is $857.33, Charlotte Sullivan is $18.47, Katrina Tennant $1546.03, Josh Turner is $412.79, Olivia Walls $101.48, Dan Wicks is $134.279, Janice Weers $779.19, Jeremy Worcester is $613.99, Daphne Ross is $711.27, Jerry Wright Ward is $714.37.
Total of $32,816.29.
Grand total $56,784.94.
That 56 is the accounts payable.
Yeah,
The 56,000 is the accounts payable, the payroll is 30-something.
thank you, John. The grand total is $35,847.66. PD had 11 hours of overtime, the fire department had 12, responding to calls.
See?
We work together, man. Olive branch, look at that.
I can be a nice guy every blue moon.
All right, ready for the,
Yeah.
all right, Allied Clearwater is $435. ASAP Landscaping Design, $3,750. Ben's Uniform, $790. Brentwood Newsletter Fund, $3,400. Citizens Bank is $240.51. Clean Orama is $1,985. Comcast, $258.50. Eversource is $55.80. Ferguson Waterworks is $186.31. Health Trust Inc. is $83.34. Hillside Landscaping Inc. is $325. Legend Software is $327. Mary Bartlett Library is $19,583.33. James Michaud is $2,000. Heather Oworski is $1,054.72. New Hampshire Retirement, $21,332.37. Treasurer State of New Hampshire, $117. Nicole Sawyer is $500. UniFirst Corp is $52.26. Valak is $246.45. WB Mason is $6235. That's it.
talk through that total amount?
Yep, just the total.
56,784.94.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So this is a little tricky, as I indicated last week it might be. It looks like we took in a lot of money, but that's really me just moving money around. We actually took in about $40,000 this week. But we had, from last week, we had money all over the place, and we still do. We're gradually moving the money over to TD. There's 300,000 left at Citizens, 3,151,000 at TD at this point. And we'll be out of Citizens, I hope, by the end of the month.
Thank you, John.
You said the account balance is 300,000, is that this plus that?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Building permits?
Yes.
Bob Gothier, 39 Fellows Road, strip and re-roof. Dennis Hayward, 106 Route 125, install 400 amp underground service. Scott Bartholomew, 470 Route 125, wiring of commercial retail space. Michael Laham, 81 Royal Road, rough and finished wiring for new addition. Ted Wanyo, 23 Plunge Drive, add basement and room, add wiring for new room. And Bob Magnuson, 1 Wendell Drive, wiring to support finish for space over garage.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a note that I'm making to sign the appointment for Matthew Kelly for 1 year.
But my name?
We're going to yellow folder. We're gonna swear in Officer Matthew Kelly. I need a motion.
I make a motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Bob? Jonathan?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. 4-0.
Daphne, you here?
Yeah, she's right
I didn't know if you could say something.
Folks, this is Matthew Kelly. We hired him as a police officer. We're very honored to have him. He's already a police officer for the town of Madbury, and with 2 years of experience, he's decided to transition over here to the Brentwood Police, and we're very lucky to have him. We have his family with us today. Thank you for coming on board, Officer Kelly.
Thank you.
Okay, raise your right hand. I, Matthew Kelly,
I, Matthew Kelly,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and perform
all the duties incumbent on me
all the duties incumbent on me
as a full-time police officer,
as a full-time police officer,
according to the best of my abilities,
according to the best of my abilities,
agreeably to the rules and regulations
agreeably to the rules and regulations
of the Constitution and laws
of the Constitution and laws
of the state of New Hampshire.
of the state of New
So
Hampshire.
help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is Matt Kelly's grandfather who's gonna pin his badge on him.
Right ahead. There you go.
Thank you.
You guys wanna hold on your
Yeah.
mouse, that's probably a lot better seat. There you go. Perfect.
Thank you.
You wanna get the family in there? Snag a picture with you guys. Buck,
Take one of mine,
I can double fist it, that's good. Ready?
I'll send the new guys up here. You can take the mask down.
Smile and wave. There you go, good.
Mom and Dad,
We
thank
can-
you
You
so
wanna
much.
get more, huh?
Yeah, let's
Okay,
get
hold on.
grandfather and grandmother in
I'll
there.
get you all in there if you want.
Yep.
You want a big family?
Can we get everybody in there?
No, you're good. I'll do my best now, just for you.
There you go, the whole family's in there. We'll double fist again, ready? Different angles.
That's kind of.
There you go. You like that, huh?
Thank you very much.
So,
Much appreciated.
congrats, buddy. Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you, welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh,
Very proud.
Told you all to come in.
Steve, one more picture? Sure. Thank you.
Let's take a minute.
Yeah. Just stand in the back, Jeremy. Come stand in the back.
Why don't you stand at the podium?
Yeah, stand on the podium.
Stand behind the podium, there you go.
The Crocs make the outfit.
Mask on. Yep.
Get your head in there. There you go.
Jeremy, I hate to say this, but you're the shortest one of them. I don't know if it's just because you're behind everybody or you're just altitudinally challenged.
Now on his tip.
It's because he's wearing Crocs, that's why.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
You need a motion on the minutes?
I noticed that we didn't have anything there about the handouts that were given to us, from Becky Dunham.
In fact, I wish to publicly thank you, Becky, for your hard work on putting the narrative and the summary together. Thank you very much.
And then, I know we had asked to remove the email from the website, but I didn't know if the BNL had agreed to that or not. I think I thought it said they agreed, but I'm not sure if we confirmed that.
Because it is the town's website.
Yeah, the minutes. We can't hear you. The minutes make it sound like it's agreed.
Oh, okay.
I got to go.
So that's the only thing I was kind of, if it's us saying,
Yes,
it's not
yes,
them
Switch the
saying
sign,
they
switch
agree.
the sign.
It's just kind of a semantic thing. I just want to make sure it's accurate.
Robin, can we have your voice on that issue, please?
What issue?
Removing the newsletter from the official town website.
I would request that you reconsider that.
Okay, she's not in agreement. It's been removed.
And with those amendments, I'm okay with making a motion for the minutes.
Okay. Do we have a second with the amendment?
A second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote. Bob?
Aye.
Jonathan?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
And I'm an aye.
Motion for non-public,
Second,
Second.
roll call.
any discussion? No discussion, roll call.
Aye.
Bob? Jonathan?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. I'm sorry. Oh, you wanna do the notes, okay.
No, it's up to you, but Tammy's here and the chief is here, if you wanna do your.
Oh, okay, Tammy, McNeil?
You want me to read it?
Yeah.
We received a letter, from Tammy McNeil from the rec department, and writing on behalf of the recreation department and also as a private citizen, I'm currently the recreation department chairperson. As many of you know already, or as many of you already know, Mr. Schroeder is retiring after 41 years of teaching over here at Swayze. He is one of Brentwood's most dedicated, well-respected, and loved teachers. In addition to teaching students, he raises and lowers the American flag at Swayze each day. He has taught his students endless lessons, but most importantly, he has taught them about dedication, preservation, and service to the community. These lessons are invaluable to the town of Brentwood. In addition, he has led numerous archaeological digs on the town-owned property between the school parking lot and the town administration building. Mr. Schroeder has also led recreational hikes for the recreation department in the summer. With all that said, we, the recreation department, would like to see if the town can place a large boulder on the property with your permission. I will ask Wayne Robinson if he can place a boulder on a prominent spot on the property. I know that may also require a little clearing, and I am happy to do that once we decide on the proper location. We also plan on asking the blacksmiths if they would make the metal flag to mount to the boulder in honor of Mr. Schroeder's 40-plus years of service as a military member, teacher, supporter of recreation, and preserver of our environment and history. We hope you see that this most amazing public servant and military veteran deserves such a tribute. Please let me know if you have any suggestions or questions. Thank you all very much for your service to our town as well, Tammy McNeil. And Tammy is here. Tammy, do you want to speak to this?
Sure, well, since then, Bob, thanks for reading my wordy email, that was for you. Anyway, since then, there is a perfectly cleared spot. I think, Karen, did you include
Yes.
Right,
pictures
we have the
now?
note.
It
Your
is
agenda
just
packet.
perfectly in the right spot to put a boulder, and I spoke to Wayne, there's many behind the the fire department, so we have a boulder. I also spoke to Bob Menard, who runs the blacksmith, and we talked about a flag, and some of the concern would be vandalism, which I didn't even think about. I'm always just, it's not where my brain goes. So a metal flag on a pole may easily be knocked over and whatnot. So we came up with another idea. Mr. Schroeder is also known for Take Apart Club. He teaches the kids how to use tools. And I looked into making an S, which, you know, is also Swayze, Schroeder, kind of works. And I have, Robert's looking into getting 2 like jumbo industrial wrenches, and you bend them into an S. And it's kind of like the most perfect thing for Mr. Schroeder, and it should be really cost effective. And really, he's not a guy who wants anything fancy, so we're looking at a little, you know, plate with a little dedication and an S mounted to a holder. And I just think, hopefully in his retirement, he will still want to lead hikes for the rec and even do his take apart or chess club, and we can add it as an activity that we can do at the rec center. So,
Thank you, Karen.
pretty
I
much
made a
it.
motion.
Okay, we have a motion,
Second.
we have a second, any discussion? Hearing no discussion, we'll have a roll call vote, Bob?
Aye.
Jonathan?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Thank you very much, Tammy.
Thank you, and I'm sorry not to stay, kids going to practice.
Thank you.
Take care, thanks, Tammy.
Maybe do you think we should be sending a letter from the board in recognition of this 41 years?
You can.
Yeah, I'm sure that's on her calendar. Thank you.
And just so you're, this is the spot that she was looking at,
Right.
over here past this white car, so it's well out of the right of way from 111A.
That's right on the rec. Right on the rec.
No, this is at the,
At
this is
school
on this side
entrance.
over here.
We own between town
Oh,
owns
I
this.
was trying to place it, yeah,
I was
yeah.
trying to picture it at the rec center too, and I'm like, I can't
Yeah.
figure, and so, it's from this
Got it.
side.
Makes more sense.
I don't know, I think this is her car, I don't know who this is.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, did she place it there?
Okay. You ready for notes?
Dan Wicks? Aaron?
Chief?
Hi, we would like to purchase a new police car. We have $56,000 in a fund for that sole purpose. I have a quote here for $46,093. It's for a Dodge Charger, and that's with, the vehicle itself is only $29,000, but the balance is emergency equipment, a cage, lights. We also want to put a radio in it, which will cost us $4,600, and here's a quote for that. So we're right around $50,000, which will give us an approximate surplus of about $5,000 to $6,000 in that account.
Which one are you getting rid of?
We're not gonna get rid of any at this point, which leads me to my second point. I mentioned retention of police officers, and what I'd like to propose to the board is give the two oldest cars in the fleet to the two town resident police officers. A take-home vehicle, it has a little bit of prestige, it's their own office on wheels. It actually increases the longevity of the vehicles. A vehicle in a pool, police pool, it really expires at about 75,000 miles. With a take-home car, we could extend that out to about 100,000. With also, with the two officers in town having a take-home car, if we have an emergency like the structure fire at 321 South Road, we can call them, they can be there within minutes. Retention, longevity of the police cruisers, and instant response for unusual circumstances. It seems like the best way to go for me, and I'd like your opinions on it.
How many vehicles do you have in the fleet right now?
Right now, we have 8 vehicles.
And you have how many full-time officers?
We have, with that, we have 6 full-time officers.
And how many part-timers?
We have 4 part-timers.
So you got 10 officers and you're gonna have 8 vehicles. That includes the truck?
That includes the truck.
Any other questions?
You mentioned retention, does this make, would this kind of a benefit make Brentwood a more attractive place for, maintaining our cadre?
Certainly it wouldn't be, I don't think it would be, I'm not gonna tell you it would be a make or break, but I'm looking for creative ways to maintain our police force. And Officer Kelly came from Madbury, and he's got 2 years on, so he's really a feather in our cap to bring him in. Plasto, right down the road, is offering a $10,000 bonus. I know Epping just lost an officer to them. So I'm looking for creative ways that we can afford to draw officers in and to maintain the officers we have. It's just cost prohibitive to keep training new officers and bring them on board. And I firmly believe it takes a full 3 years before an officer is comfortable and competent, even in a town like Brentwood.
No, is this new car, does that include the painting of the doors, the white, your new scheme that you guys have, the color scheme?
No, I don't believe it
So
does.
it's all black?
If it's gonna come all black, we'll paint the doors white. I think that's an extra $500 or $600.
Last week, the chief provided us with a total cost for a new officer is $22,807, and he hasn't worked a day yet. So, this is, in my opinion, a major enhancement to our town. Any other discussion?
I also think that they should be allowed to take on their cruisers. The fact is, we don't have a bay to store them in. Let's say the winter comes and they do put the cruiser in the garage, they're gonna be able to get the calls a heck of a lot quicker. Rather than have them sit out here and have to come back, clean off a cruiser, warm it up. It just makes more sense to let the officers take these home.
Good point. Any further comments? We'll have a roll call vote.
You need a motion first.
Well, yes, but what I was gonna say is we're gonna roll both of the requests into one motion.
So, just for clarity, what, both of the,
Okay,
The new cruiser and take-home cruiser for the
Okay.
officers.
the motion is gonna be $46,093 for the new vehicle,
plus the Motorola,
plus the other cost.
4667.
And you have the funds in your reserve right now.
Right, we have a fund, Karen and I sat down the other day, there's 56,000 in there.
Okay.
We will be under it with a small surplus.
Okay.
So that's the first part of the motion. The second part is
Special
to
detail.
allow the two oldest vehicles to be take-home vehicles for officers residing in Brentwood. Any discussion? Can we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second? Any more discussion? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote.
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Jonathan? And I'm an aye.
This
Thank you
is
very
only
much.
for town residents. No one else will have it.
Great. Thank you, chief.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, chief.
Thank you.
Where are we going next, John?
Nope.
Second page.
Do you wanna do that?
Nope.
I received 2 abatement applications that were not filed timely. One of them was well aware of the March 1st deadline and submitted their application on March 26th. So I would recommend this one to be denied.
Okay.
The other also filed untimely. So this one filed untimely, but their basis is that their assessment is disproportionate based on market value. So that one would be denied. The second one is filing an abatement application, but the basis is that their square footage is incorrect. So I would recommend denying their abatement application, but reviewing the content of it to see if there's an error and omissions on their property tax card, that we make those adjustments based off of what's actually on the property.
Do we have to take a motion on that right now, or can we wait until we,
So what will happen is Karen will notify him that the abatement has been denied with the particulars. And then they can come back and then we can alter our decision if it's refiled properly.
I see.
I'll make a motion
For both
for both.
denials, any
Second.
questions? Any concerns?
No.
Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote. Bob?
Aye.
Aye.
Jonathan? John?
Aye.
And I'm an aye.
At last week's meeting, the board approved up to $3,400 for the newsletter based off of the total amount appropriated divided by 12. Since that time, the editor has submitted a request for an invoice to release $4,607.88 based on actual costs. And she has submitted receipts to go along with that as well.
So what's the
Is that something that-
difference?
4,000.
No, that's not an additional 4,000.
No.
The difference is $1,207.88.
Has this had to come out of your pocket, Robin?
It has.
Okay.
Make a motion for 1,207.88.
I
I've
second.
got the receipts if you want.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a roll call vote. Bob?
Aye.
Jonathan?
Aye.
John?
Nope.
Nope. And I'm an aye. The next one is, we received a right to know request from the ACLU. Karen has been working all day putting it together, and she will submit it after clarifying whether they want it in mail or by email.
And that's in relative to the Brentwood newsletter.
Right.
What is the request?
So the request is copies of, they had emailed it individually to all of you today, but the request is for all records and communications in possession of town employees, in reference to the newsletter.
Can you take your mask down? We cannot hear you. I can't hear you.
They want all records circulated to a quorum of the board, and records sufficient to identify on an annual basis how much is appropriated to the newsletter. They'd also like to know records sufficient to identify any perceived requirement that the town is required to fund the newsletter.
Is this the Bissonnet?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So, as the emails have been coming in since this started in March, I've been printing them as they come in, so there's 154 pages here that would be released. If they will accept it via email, I suggest just waiving the costs. We've already printed everything for your benefit, so I don't see a reason to charge them a second time. If they prefer paper copies, then I would charge them the 25-cent standard copy fee.
So that was just a point of information, okay?
Yeah.
The next note is Karen would like to take a vacation.
No.
Usually that's not a.
Yeah, I'm on vacation that week too.
so that means the three of us, and Andy, hopefully he will be back, we will handle the duties along with Sarah. And that's an off week, so we will gather at 4 to sign the manifest.
I'm a little surprised by the ACLU requesting documents from the town of Brentwood. So what other interaction has there been,
None. This is the first correspondence I've received from them. It was a right to know request for records pertaining to the newsletter. I haven't had any other calls or anything else from them prior to.
Okay, I hope we're all paying attention to that.
Well,
That makes me real nervous.
if we all follow the rules about emails only to Karen, never to the board.
I'm not worried about the rules. I mean, I don't like that kind of attention coming off Brentwood.
Well, there's not a thing we can do about it.
I beg to differ, Mr. Chairman, but okay.
Well, we have to honor the request. So,
We should most certainly do.
and that's what we're gonna do.
Okay.
The next one, we have the appointment.
Yep, you already signed the appointment slip
Yep.
for Matthew Kelly, so this is his employment contract for 3 years with the town of Brentwood.
Because we already signed it, I think all we need to do is to sign this one. But Bob, I know you like to make motions.
Make a motion.
Do we have a second?
And an employment contract is only offered to officers that we are sending to the police academy.
So they do a 3-year contract, and if they leave before, they have to pay us back proration.
This is my learning opportunity for me. He's been in Madbury for 2 years.
2 years.
It's part-time option.
And so as a part-time, you don't have to go to
Well,
the,
they have a part-time.
There's a part-time academy and a full-time academy,
so now we're
two separate.
We're
sending.
paying full-time.
What's the cost of that?
About 15,000.
So
It's
we'll,
just the
Yeah,
22.
that is correct, and I had him sign a 3-year contract. So he's with us for 3 years, he'll have to reimburse us.
Oh, thanks, Chief. I'm not worried about, just to be clear, I just, it's more for my, understanding, because what I don't like is the revolving door.
Right.
It's costly to taxpayers and,
He,
thanks,
this-
Chief.
we had another officer that was going to the full-time academy and finished, go through. So he's basically filling that position.
Got it.
Is he going in for May?
I'm actually deferring him to the fall academy, so we can use him for summer vacations. And I'm hoping it's a cost saver. And I'll put him in the September academy. That way I could use him to backfill when all the full-timers are on vacation.
And is he restricted on how many hours he can work or not?
No, now that he's hired full-time, there's no restriction.
And essentially, John, what we do is we pay his salary while he's at the school. We don't pay for the school.
Got it.
Okay. We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, roll call vote up.
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Tim? John?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Last week, everybody received a copy of the Board of Selectmen handbook. The auditors would like a signed copy of at least 3 of us. So the question is, have we read it, reviewed it, and are there any questions?
Unless you wanted to wait until, when do they want it by? I mean, I know we talked about
Who are the
last week
auditors?
waiting until Andy was back, so.
Plodzik and Sanderson is our annual auditors. This just needs to be done before they come back next year.
So Andy can sign it at any time.
Are you guys comfortable with making a motion to sign it, or did you wanna wait till we have a full board? What's your call?
I'm not gonna sign it just yet, because I haven't read it.
Oh, okay, all right, then we'll,
We'll
we'll,
just wait till Andy's back.
Are there any is there any recourse, what's the point of this, other than just awareness?
just awareness, to make sure that we all understand what the rules of the road are. Okay? And Karen, you wanna talk about the COVID?
So the employee handbook, I had recently updated. The auditors would like a new cover sheet signed at least every 3 years, or if there's a big change in Board of Selectmen members. So these are all policies that have all been previously adopted by the prior board. The only changes that I made in here is there's a COVID illness policy that states that employees are to quarantine for 14 days. I changed that to 10 based off of CDC guidelines. And I amended the tardy policy because it stated that you had up to 30 minutes to be late before you had to notify anybody, which I just find absurd. I think you should notify them before your start time, or as soon as practical is how I worded it.
So do you need a motion for that?
Yes, are you guys comfortable signing this?
Or did you want to read that?
I haven't read that either.
So do you wanna wait, or?
I mean, he can, I just haven't read it.
I read
That's
the
all.
handbook, so I'm good, but if you wanna wait, it's whatever
We
you
can
want.
do that all at the same time.
We'll put it together, okay.
Just wait a big, nice package.
Okay,
Do you
And
want
that's
me
in
to make-
that's in the drawer.
Yes.
Unless you want to make a copy, I can do it tonight too.
I'm gonna force myself to get down that route. I really am.
we'll be following up on you.
Please do.
I don't know if it keeps track of us all in, does it?
It should.
No, cause you
I
already.
just learned how to do it legally now, yeah.
Okay. You just learned it?
Well, looks like I got some leeway there.
How many years ago?
Actually, I read that. Okay. Anything else, Ned?
That is all I have for public session.
Okay,
I have 2 items for non-public
all
session.
right. Anything from the public? One at a time. Mr. Robinson. Is that a bill?
What's that?
Is that a bill?
No, this is a letter for you.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
I thought you were coming up here to pay my tax.
Usually you're here for money.
I'll give you the invoice. This is from Bellinson,
Oh, the proposal.
for the roads.
Oh, good.
We wanna get going on this, cause the price is gonna go up, so we wanna try to hold the price, so we wanted to
Okay.
get it for you guys.
All right.
While he's reading that, Wayne, I did get a complaint on Crawley Falls Road. There's you guys filled in a section, but there was like a pothole. But the pothole, I guess, is like this deep, and you guys put in that much, so everyone's still hitting it.
Okay.
It's in front of Lynn Austin's house.
Whereabouts?
Lynn Austin's house, I don't know what number she is, but she,
Okay, we'll find it.
so I talked to
Well,
her yesterday at the library, so just
You
wanna
been-
make sure. I get the-
Just pass it around. It's basically telling us what it is per ton. You have another one?
No, this is the same letter. But I do wanna let you know that we're gonna take in, the money that we get is gonna take, let's see, we're gonna be doing, Block Drive, Dudley Road, and also gonna do Skim Mill Plain. We're gonna run out of money for doing what, we won't have enough money, actually, there's gonna be $10,000 left in that line item.
Out of the 350,000?
And, cause what we wanted to do Salmon Way, but there ain't enough money there to cover
Okay.
everything in Salmon Way. So what I wanna do with that $10,000, I'm not sure what's gonna happen with the Mill Road Bridge over there. But there's some places in town, like, over on, Scrabble Road, that we may have to do some shimming.
Okay.
Because some of the road is breaking up, and there's a couple other roads that I know of that's happened too,
This is
so.
his warrant article.
When it comes to use that $10,000, I'll just use it up to do something like that.
Okay.
Unless something between now and then comes in.
When the lower lot, the lower parking lot at the BRC in front of the basement doors.
Yeah, I
There's a-
saw that, it's broken.
Yeah, I know.
That's gonna take some money to fix.
Well,
I'm gonna tell you.
Would that go any?
We already tried to fix that, there's a lot of water in there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of water, we dug that all up one time, and we should dig that out, so that
Yeah,
doesn't
you
happen
need
all the time.
that trough
Yes,
needs to go
it's-
across it.
Yeah, there's a lot of water comes off that hill and just goes right underneath. And, we saw that, but I'll try to do something with that.
Okay.
I can use probably some of my road construction money. I'll see John Bell, see if we can do something, because the truck fell through this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, right in the middle, it's right in the middle. So, I'll see him and see what we can do, to figure out a way to fix it, so.
So is the culvert that's underneath that, is that broken if the truck fell through?
No, it's just a hot top, it's just soft underneath,
Okay,
so much water in there.
so it's washed out. Okay, it's undermined.
Thank you.
So, if this is all set, I'm gonna call John Bell tomorrow to try to.
We're
lock
gonna have a
this in.
vote here in a minute, I think.
What's that?
We're gonna have a vote.
Okay.
Everybody's had the opportunity to read it.
Okay.
Any questions? Can we have a motion?
Make a motion.
We have a motion? We have a second? Any questions? No questions? Roll call vote, Bob?
Aye.
Jonathan?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Thank you, chief.
Okay, I got one other thing.
Says that every
Superintendent,
time.
Superintendent, I'm sorry.
I have right now, last week over on, Old Gordon Road, over on, across the street from the old fire station. There's a lot of water in there. And the water in there this year is, I'll tell you what happened is, last year they went in and they did something in the pit, and then they came out and they fixed the road, because they dug it all up, they was bringing their stuff in and out of there. Well, when they dug it out, they took the whole crown out of the road. So now the water comes down the hill and it lays in there. It's, before Danny Beland's, you see pictures? Yeah, I went over there last weekend with all the water, and, I took the backhoe over there, and we took all the wheel ruts out. And then I took a little, I used a 550, and I took a load of, crushed, rock in there. I put that in there to try to level it off. Now, if we get a lot of rain, in there, with that road that flat, it's gonna start, you can't get no fire trucks up through there. There won't be a fire truck, there won't be an ambulance, it's lucky the cars made it through, because it's just sinking. And there's a lot of water there. I haven't checked it this week over there, because we tried to put the gravel in the middle to try to keep the water to run off on the side.
And that's still class 6 back there.
That's a class 6
Yep.
road, but that's what I wanted to find out. I don't know how much money you want into it, but I did, Mark King is taking care of the road. I saw Mark King and I suggested to him to get a price from John Bell. He can't do it right now because it's so wet, but if he can wait till it softens up and everything, he might be able to have John Bell to come up with his grader and put a crown back in the road, similar, but,
That should be relatively inexpensive.
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yeah. But, I mean,
Class 6.
in the
Yeah, well, we have to maintain it for the vehicles. You bring it.
In the meantime, that's what I mean, in the meantime, if we get a lot of rain, there's 4 houses after that road that goes up in there that we gotta keep it maintained so they can get a fire truck up in there. At least a fire truck, and I don't think the ambulance, I think the ambulance would be too heavy to go up in there too, so.
Well, we'll wait to hear from you back, and
Okay.
hopefully,
We'll keep an eye on it, and I'm gonna check with Mark King, because he was gonna see John Bell, because Mark's not looking for us to do it, he knows that, you know, they.
well, but we have an obligation, even though it's a class 6 road, to maintain it for
Right.
emergency vehicles.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
okay,
Yes.
that's it.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Yes, Rebecca.
Rebecca Dunham, 9 Block Drive. Knowing that you folks have scheduled a meeting on the 20th of April, have you all discussed what the structure of that meeting will be and what the end goal will be? How will decisions be made based on?
Well, first, we will hear everybody that's there to speak. We will take that information back and we will discuss it as a board in front of you the following week, or 2 weeks, because it's a summer. And then, once that has been done, we will then come to conciseness. We will find out yes or no. But it will be done in the public, and they say in Florida, in the sunshine. So we'll have the lights on and you'll all be able to hear it and see it.
And so the decision will be based on the
Well,
balance that comes out?
I can only tell you that we will take all the information and then utilize that.
In a fair and equal,
I think the meeting is to primarily
right,
let people have their voice.
right.
And then we still have to have our meeting on what we end up doing. And so
Okay.
I think it's to allow everyone to have the input, have
Okay,
that public discussion, to allow a public meeting, and then to rationally come back here and act professionally and mature and have a nice discussion and figure out how to move things forward.
Enough said on that topic, I think. Yes,
To follow up with that question, will you be basing your opinions on your personal opinions or the majority of the people that you hear spoken that night?
we will base the opinion on what we hear and then what we can provide as a board of selectmen.
you answered my question.
Well, I'm not gonna.
I could see that.
Okay.
I think it's a matter of, everyone's gonna have an emotional opinion on it, everyone's gonna have their own personal view. I think it's a matter of what was the intent and moving forward properly, and then how do we maybe set up a framework for how we address it maybe in the fall. Personally, I say it probably should be on a warrant article, and then let the people vote on it at the town meeting going forward, but that's my own personal view.
The question is, what about the remaining cost of the newsletter for this year? That voted on $10,200. Are you going to vote on whether she's going to receive the rest of it?
I don't know, I think that's putting the cart before the horse right now at this point.
I'm sure that'll be part of the consideration.
Isn't that the goal of, wouldn't that be the goal of the meeting?
To move it forward, yeah. I hope so.
You're looking for an answer that we don't have.
We haven't even had the meeting on the 20th with the town, so we're going after that.
Any other comments from the public? Rebecca, you want to do it again?
Just a quick question. In the minutes of the last meeting, I asked, what will the decision be? Will the decision be to fund or not fund the newsletter? And I think the minutes reflect that the decision was going to be about funding.
That's the ultimate
Okay.
goal, you're absolutely
Okay,
right.
thank you.
But everybody wants to know how we're gonna get there, and we don't
Yep.
know.
Okay.
Okay,
No, I just want to know why you're going to do that. Is that you're funding it, you're going to address funding?
I'd like to tell you I don't know.
You just contradicted yourself. You said you
No,
don't know.
I'm talking to you as an individual, I don't know.
Melissa?
So, don't shoot me, because I was on a co-op meeting and I just walked in late, so if this has been beaten to death, I sincerely apologize. The meeting on the 20th, what's the point of that meeting?
To hear everybody who didn't get a chance on the original evening that we had the technical difficulties. We wish to hear everybody, left or right or in the middle. And Lois, we will make a decision, and it will be to fund or not to fund, based on all of the information that is gathered. Okay?
That's
Right.
that's what I wanted to know.
Any other questions from the public? Hearing none, thank you all for coming. We have to go into non-public. And
How do I tell if somebody's,
You ask anybody in your Zoom
Anybody-
audience if you have a question for the board.
anybody in the audience that has any questions?
oh, John is going to help.
Because I'm looking at this thing going, I see Alina, that's all I have in front of me. How do I know if they want to talk?
If anyone has any questions, can you all raise your hands? Or send us a message in the chat.
Andy is our technical advisor. He had a second passing in the family, so he's not here this evening.
You did? I'm sad.
They can chat here, and we would all be able to see. So, nothing there?
Shannon, just
Yes.
a tiny little question.
Yes.
Lucy.
We're gonna listen to everyone's opinions, right,
Yes.
that night on the 20th. Will the decision be based on the opinions that night as well as all the correspondence that the select board has received?
It'll all be bundled
Because a lot of
together.
people will not be able to be at that
I
meeting.
understand.
Okay,
Everything is continuous.
okay, thank you.
In fact, all of this information that we have already gathered,
Yeah.
that will be part of the freedom,
Right to know.
right to vote, right to know, will all be inclusive.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
One short thing on this, I just, because we're talking a lot about funding or not funding. And I know that y'all know the way that I feel about this, but I wanna be very, very clear. I am not going to, or am not currently advocating for not funding the newsletter. We don't have to discuss this right now. I'm happy to discuss it as an individual with any of you offline in the setting of this meeting. I do not want to not fund the newsletter. I want the newsletter. I just want to be super clear about that. We just want some standards. Okay? Happy to talk offline.
All right, so I'm gonna make a motion that we go into non-public in accordance with chapter 91A, 311, A, B, C, D, E,
We have a roll call.
Bob and
Jonathan?
Jonathan.
John?
Aye.
I'm
more.
We're not coming back.
Have a good night. Yes, Wayne.
That's Katie's new address.
Okay.
They sold the house, so he moved
I
to
saw
You
that.
can have it, I got 15 of them.
All right, how long will he be here? Do you know? Not sure yet. Oh, he's already there? Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. That's the day he hit the, that's the day he hit the backhoe. I think he was
Yeah.
probably a little distracted.
He's hoping to get find a place and move
I
back.
hope so too.
He's living with his mother right now.
Okay, thank you.